So you mean to tell me all those late nights, what you doing, where you at? I've seen Jay-Z at his house. I've seen T. Jakes at his house. I've seen Chris Brown at his house. I've seen Jordan Woods at his house. I've seen Travis Scott at his house. I've seen Beyonce at his house. I've seen Tiana Taylor. I've seen them all.
Not Jason Lee, caught up in one of the wildest scandals Stockton has ever seen. This man was accused of bleeding the city dry, snatching money from hardworking residents just to bankroll his flashy lifestyle. And here's where it gets even crazier. After the arrest, instead of keeping quiet, Jason allegedly pointed fingers at none other than Jay Z and Beyonce, claiming they plotted online to set him up. Imagine the audacity, accusing two of the biggest names in music of masterminding your downfall. But let's backtrack for a second. Who in their right mind thought Jason Lee should ever be trusted as vice mayor of Stockton? Nobody expected this man to trade gossip blogs for politics, yet somehow he slid right into office like it was a reality show twist. The whole situation makes Stockton look like a circus, with taxpayers left-footing the bill for the chaos. Millions are already slipping through the city's fingers, and the blame sits squarely on the shoulders of those who pushed him into power. The timeline of this disaster is just as messy. Stockton's mayor, Christina Fugazi, made Jason her vice mayor back in November, just after she herself took office in January. And instead of easing into public service, Jason allegedly wasted no time jumping into shady business. By May, barely months into his political debut, he was already being investigated for skimming $50,000.
I'm going to tell them while Johnny puts a beep over this part of the show, so you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions, and I'm going to do it right now. Ooh, and that's where I go back to, like, we're friends in the game. We support each other. We help each other out. Can you imagine had I put that on Hollywood Law? Oh, there's one more thing. Beat this, Johnny.
That's right, and he didn't even bother hiding it or pacing himself. He allegedly went full throttle straight into scandal. Here's where the drama really explodes. In May, Stockton hosted a live version of the hit TV show Wild and Out Live at Adventist Health Arena. But ticket sales flopped badly. Nobody was showing up. Rather than accept the loss, the city dipped into its risk mitigation fund, pulling out a whopping $50,000 to keep the event alive. But according to former interim city manager Steve Cangelo, Jason allegedly swooped in and mishandled that money without getting the proper approvals. He just grabbed the bag and moved like it was his personal stash. Jason Lee's short time in politics has turned into one long scandal, and the city of Stockton is now drowning in embarrassment. Steve didn't hold back. He straight up demanded an internal investigation into Jason, claiming that the $50,000 in question was just the tip of the iceberg. According to him, Jason might have been dipping into millions from the city's accounts, hiding it behind so-called event support moves. Even more shocking, Steve accused Jason of pocketing part of that $50,000 by allegedly using his personal ties with the Wild and Out promoters. That's not just shady. That's straight up scandalous. But Jason wasn't about to sit back and let the accusations fly unchecked. As expected, he came out swinging, denying everything and even threatening to sue. He quickly tried to flip the script, claiming the whole transaction had been approved by Stockton's Director of Economic Development and that he personally had zero involvement in it. Then he decided to take his defense to social media, dropping a long post on Instagram like he was addressing fans instead of taxpayers. Jason wrote, "A few weeks ago, I got tipped off that there was a conspiracy brewing, claiming that I brought Wild and Out to Stockton and influenced decisions so Nick Cannon, my friends, and I could profit." He tried to spin the story, saying Nick and the Wild and Out crew only came to Stockton as a personal favor to him, just to help the city shine and attract world-class partnerships like Nick Ripples and 5120 Entertainment. But that wasn't all. Jason doubled down, saying the attacks on Stockton city staff were beyond disappointing, and insisted that his people were only doing their jobs.
Woo! So that in itself, I think Beyonce could have gave me a, you know what I mean? Like there should be a little love there. Now,
maybe she doesn't know.
Beyonce doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think Beyonce, they're not going to share that with her.
Yvette knows. I got the receipts. I still have the receipts. Yvette know I got the receipts. I got them. Now if I get that message to Beyonce,
yes,
I
she
can
needs
get
to
it
know.
I'm connected. I could get the message to Beyonce.
She needs to know.
And I think people like her publicist, who I love, and I'm just being critical. That's just what I do. You know that, Yvette. We're trying to book Kelly Rowland right now. Now, if I don't get Kelly Rowland because I say this about, then it's going to be a problem. Then I'm putting out receipts. The receipts I just told you about, then I'll put those out.
He even bragged that when the issue finally came up in the audit committee, the room went completely silent. Today we agendized it in the audit committee, and it was crickets, he said. Jason wanted everyone to believe this was nothing more than a witch hunt, but the drama swirling around him only made Stockton look even messier. Jason didn't just defend himself, he went full throttle with the clapbacks. He bragged that Wild 'N Out deserved praise for its professionalism and claimed the Stockton community loved every moment of the show, promising that highlight clips were on the way. Then he turned his attention straight to his critics, firing off, "If you can't outwork me in policy, opportunity, or inspiration, work harder. Because making up lies to do reputational harm won't work when I've got the heart of the people." That's Jason's way of saying he's untouchable, no matter what scandal is swirling, and he didn't stop there. Jason tried to spin the allegations as nothing more than payback, claiming he was being targeted because he raised tough questions about Stockton's shaky finances in his role as chair of the audit committee.
A lot of these celebrities, every single celebrity in the culture has been to Diddy's house, which means they've gone through all his phones, text messages. I can read you my text message to Diddy. What day is it airing on the show, on the network? Are you coming on the show? Diddy, what's this? It's all been business for me. It's been business for me. I don't have nothing inappropriate to them people because I don't deal with them like that. So you mean to tell me all those late nights, what you doing, where you at? I've seen Jay Z at his house. I've seen Jake at his house. I've seen Chris Brown at his house. I've seen Jordan Woods at his house. I've seen Travis Scott at his house. I've seen Beyonce at his house. I've seen Tiana Taylor. I've seen them all. Now, we was all in the backyard, but I've seen them all. I've seen Usher there. I've seen DaBaby there. I've seen Justin Bieber there. I've seen... Everybody's been to a Diddy party. I've seen Lindsay Lohan, Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, Tyrese, Amber Rose. I've seen them all up in there.
According to him, this was all a political hit job meant to shut him up. Baby Jason Lee wasn't just defending himself, he was turning the drama into a full-blown victim narrative, acting like he was being punished for speaking the truth. On top of that, Jason pulled the legal card. He demanded a public apology and threatened a $25,000 lawsuit for damages, citing defamation, emotional distress, and harm to his reputation if the accusations weren't retracted immediately. It was clear he was ready to fight, dirty to protect his image. But what really turned heads was how he dragged Beyonce and Jay Z into the chaos once. Again, Jason has been on their necks ever since the Diddy drama erupted, and many people couldn't help but side-eye his claims, whispering that maybe this whole scandal was tied to them setting him up. Jason himself seemed to feed into that theory, hinting that the power couple really was behind the scenes pulling strings. And let's not forget, this wasn't Jason's first time coming for Beyonce. When she reportedly refused to invite him to the premiere of her Renaissance film, Jason didn't take it lightly. Instead, he threatened to spill alleged evidence that could implicate her, marking the first public jab he took at the Queen herself. From then on, it was clear Jason Lee had declared war on Beyonce and Jay Z, and he wasn't planning on backing down anytime soon. When Jason went on his little rant, most people weren't even tuned in. But those who did catch it said he came off sounding entitled, like the only reason he was blasting Beyonce was because she didn't send him an invite. It looked petty, almost like he was throwing shade just to get attention. But then, when whispers started spreading about Beyonce and Jay Z's alleged ties to certain circles, people suddenly stopped laughing. The reaction shifted fast. Folks were like, wait a minute, maybe Jason wasn't just being dramatic. Maybe he really knows something. That's when things took an even darker turn. Jason hopped back on Instagram Live and decided to drop bombshells about what he had supposedly seen firsthand at Diddy's infamous parties.
Jason Lee, I'm getting calls. And I haven't even said anything. They ain't called me to go to the Rock Nation brunch. They haven't called me to go to the Gold Party.
To accept being honored.
They haven't called me when we offered to honor Jay-Z at the award show. They didn't call me to go to the press conference about striking the deal with the NFL while we were kneeling for Kaepernick. They didn't call me to ask me what I thought about her hair care product. They didn't call me to offer a free bottle of her perfume. I didn't get to go backstage on her tour for the Renaissance. In fact, when the video circulated making it look like I've been chasing her around like a super fan, which I am a super fan, but I chase nobody. Nobody's called me to clear that up. I haven't gotten a delivery of white flowers with a little card from Beyonce. Why is everybody calling me now?
Oh, and you also stopped.
We not going to even go there. I stopped a major thing for Beyonce. Didn't even get a thank you.
But now everybody's
calling. Why is everybody calling me now? Because I'm a firefighter. Because I run towards fires and I put them out or I fan the flames. But why is everybody calling me now? And that's the problem that I have with this whole situation. But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me.
He didn't hold back. He rattled off names that sent shockwaves through the industry. Jason Lee claimed he saw Jordan Woods, Travis Scott, Usher, DaBaby, Justin Bieber, Tyrese, Amber Rose, Mary J. Blige, Tiana Taylor, and yes, even Beyonce and Jay Z at those gatherings. By naming such a stacked lineup of A-list celebrities, Jason wasn't just stirring gossip, he was hinting at something much bigger. He was painting a picture that connected some of the most powerful names in entertainment to a scandal that nobody wanted to touch. Suddenly, what started as Jason being salty over a movie premiere snub turned into something that had fans and insiders questioning just how deep this rabbit hole really goes. A few days later, Jason popped back up with even wilder claims, this time saying that Jay-Z and Beyonce actually sent people after him. He alleged that their so-called thugs tried to intimidate him after they caught wind of the things he'd been saying. According to Jason, the power couple wasn't just mad. They were pressing him hard behind the scenes, allegedly threatening to get him fired if he didn't backtrack on his words. Jason went further, claiming they even demanded that he clarify his remarks publicly and at one point tried to force him to act as their mouthpiece. But he insisted he stood his ground and refused to play their game. Then came the most shocking part. Jason revealed that he once protected them by stopping a major, damaging report from ever hitting the press. In his version of the story, he kept them from facing serious public fallout. Yet instead of showing gratitude, they allegedly continued to treat him like he was invisible. The way Jason told it, he was the one doing favors for Beyonce and Jay Z, only to be met with betrayal and threats in return. To his supporters, this sounded like proof that he was being silenced by industry giants. But to others, it looked like Jason was just adding more fire to his personal vendetta, trying to paint himself as the lone truth-teller standing up to music royalty. Jason positioned himself as the underdog, fighting against two of the biggest names in the game. But the story didn't stop there. He suggested that Beyonce and Jay Z were trying to blacklist him completely, pulling strings in the industry to cut off his opportunities. According to him, they wanted to erase his influence, making sure his voice wouldn't carry weight anywhere in media or politics. Instead of bowing down, Jason doubled down, insisting he had receipts, connections, and the guts to expose everything they'd tried to keep hidden. The Tension between him and the Carters was no longer just gossip. It was beginning to look like an all-out war brewing in plain sight. Jason then hinted that the feud went way deeper than anyone realized. He claimed Beyonce and Jay Z weren't just trying to silence him. They were allegedly working behind the scenes to control the entire narrative around Diddy's scandal. In his eyes, they were the ones handpicking who got exposed and who stayed protected, while using their power to keep their own names clean. Jason made it sound like he was the only one bold enough to stand up and say, "Nah, I'm not playing along with this cover-up." By doing so, he painted himself as both the whistleblower and the target, suggesting that going against the Carters came with dangerous consequences. From there, Jason amped things up even more, dropping hints that he had proof locked away that could blow the whole situation wide open. He teased that he'd witnessed moves and conversations that tied Beyonce and Jay Z directly to the circles now under heavy scrutiny. The way he framed it, he wasn't just gossiping anymore. He was positioning himself as the man holding secrets powerful enough to shake the entire industry. And with every post and live stream, Jason made it clear, if the Carters kept coming for him, he was ready to unleash everything he knew, no matter how explosive it might be. Jason's warnings quickly turned into straight-up threats. He implied that if Beyonce and Jay Z didn't back off, he would press the button and leak names, dates, and receipts tied to their alleged dealings. He hyped it up like he had an arsenal of dirt that could ruin careers overnight. Fans were divided. Some thought he was bluffing for attention, while others swore he looked way too confident to be faking. The tension was electric, like Jason was standing on the edge of exposing something massive, and the industry was holding its breath, waiting to see if he would actually pull the trigger. Jason had been spilling way too much tea about Beyonce and Jay Z, stuff they allegedly didn't want out there. And now he claimed they were trying to shut him down completely. But here's the twist. It was becoming more and more obvious that the real reason Jason was dragging them nonstop was because he felt disrespected, like they didn't value him the way he thought they should. He even seemed to admit that Beyonce and Jay Z were behind his current troubles when he dropped another cryptic post after fans started connecting their names to his situation. Jason tried to play it off, saying, not liking someone is perfectly okay, but making up lies to destroy their character is not okay. But by then, the damage was already done. People were talking, debating, and picking sides all over social media. And you know the internet had a field day with this one. One person commented, "Jason Lee being a mayor lets me know all I need to know about the city." Another laughed and said, "I thought Beyonce running away was the most hilarious thing surrounding Jason Lee. Him being mayor takes the cake." We are truly living in strange times. The reactions were brutal, but also kind of entertaining, because nobody could believe Stockton actually handed him that kind of power in the first place. So now, the big question lands in your lap. Do you believe Jason Lee really embezzled Stockton's money, or is he just being framed? And do you buy the idea that Jay Z and Beyonce might actually have a hand in all this chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the shocking twists still to come.